Like them spinning tires, Walter?
Oh yeah, baby.
Like them spinning tires, Walter?
Oh yeah, baby.
Jump in this thing and see what it'll do.
Ready to rock this, bro?
Oh, hell yeah. Hey everybody. I have to kind of like apologize to you guys because I'm inside Patina right now and I have been driving this car for months and months and it is freaking awesome. This car is badass. I do have some footage for you, but not a lot. It's kind of hit and miss because when I was building the car, I would say like the last half of it, it was kind of like, oh shit, I just need to get this car done. And I was working on it, hit and miss here and there, and it was kind of hard to keep track of where I left off and what I was doing filming. So half the time I just kind of said screw it and just worked on the car without any cameras rolling. So sorry guys. I know Patina is one of my best cars and I let the followers down on that. But I am jumping back on it and I will be posting some videos of Patina and some of the build process. So, but Matt's is coming up, which is the local muscle cars at the strip here in Las Vegas. And I have set up an autocross event. You've probably seen the old YouTube video of it. Patina's racing in that. And even though Patina is badass, it can be more badasser. So I've got some upgrades I need. Whoa, what are you doing, dude? I'm driving, if you haven't noticed. So I've got some upgrades I need to do to it. We're gonna add an accumulator. We're gonna add a drive shaft loop. I'm gonna make some custom lower ball joint steering knuckles, so to try and help some of the geometry on these Mopars. So there's actually a lot of upgrades I'm gonna be doing to Patina, and you will get to see that stuff. Adding more caster. Actually, I bought a Dakota digital gauge cluster for this car, so I'm gonna be putting that in. A lot of neat shit. So, but before I do that, I'm gonna try and play catch up on a lot of the old footage I have stored up on Patina. So I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys get caught up on what Patina is to date, and then once I reach that point, then we're gonna get into some of the more badass upgrades and Patina carnage. This car is cool, man. It's fast. So I will holler at you guys later. I'm gonna post a couple of videos, like I said, of getting caught up on Patina, and I will see you guys later. I am back on Patina. Bam! I love this car. I have actually been neglecting this car a little bit because I've been busy doing customer stuff and whatnot. So this car is getting some major upgrades from what it was before. For example, it's getting vintage air, which I'm actually working on right now, which is what I'm going to be doing tonight. Got the whole vintage air set up. Oh yes, so much coolness, literally. I just actually finished installing vintage air in another car. Let me wiggle my butt through here. This is actually a customer car right here. I just finished building this car. And it's dark right now in here, but anyway, all new motor, drivetrain, suspension, made the cluster work. It's basically a new driver again. Converted the car to 4-speed and installed vintage air in this thing. And this vintage air works better than any of my other cars. Actually, I only have one other car that has AC, and that's my 04 Dodge Ram. And this thing, AC in this thing just blows it out of the water. So awesome. I'm just waiting for the transmission so I can bolt this to the transmission. I'm gonna finish the vintage air in this thing so that way it's out of the way and done. What's up, Nacho? The fiance does not like rolling around in the heat, and since all my other Chargers have no AC, and I don't like driving my truck. I mean, I really love my truck. I appreciate the truck because it hauls everything, but I would rather sweat my ass off and look cool than be cool in the truck. So yeah, I drive my Chargers. And but she's not fond of that theory. Back to this stuff. We're gonna get on installing the vintage air in Patina. Step 1, directions. So here's the factory plate that we're gonna block off on the cowl. And then here we got the little adapters that we're gonna screw over, or actually it just pushes up onto the factory defrost ducts. So I'll show you that in just a second. Let's go ahead and jump on in here. I'll show you what I've done already. I just bought this little doohickey right here. Bam! Rechargeable, awesome. All right, so as you can see, all the original heavy crap, gonzo. And right there is the block off plate that I have already screwed in, seam sealed. So that is done. And then over in here, oh wait, better see it right here. All right, so there's the little adapter ducts that we basically just cap onto the original defrost. All right, so the next step we have here is basically the brackets that hold it to the car, which this right here is the backside. Alrighty, next step we have here is we need to screw on the rear bracket, which actually this would technically be the forward bracket because this is the one that's going to attach to the firewall. Alright, so we've got the bracket installed, we've got the hard lines on, which in the directions I show you to put the bracket on first and then the hard lines. Don't do that, just put the hard lines on first and slip it over. It's easier to do it. So that's done. Now I get to go modify the firewall just a hair. We got the factory bracket, or this is the block off plate that seals up all the factory AC holes. The only thing I do need to do is I need to remove the factory wiring loom clamp. All right, so here we go. Need to remove this wiring loom clamp right there. Under here. All right, so I've gone ahead and I've ripped off all the factory insulation on the firewall. Instead of just throwing on the block off plate and the AC unit, I'm going to go ahead and hush mat it. I've got some leftover hush mats from another car I've done, so I might as well do it up and make it all nice. So I'll hush mat the bottom of the cowl, and I'm gonna go ahead and hush mat the back of the firewall because it's got a pretty nasty motor going in it, and my fiance is kind of a wimp. She doesn't like loud cars. I think she's getting used to it though, because all my cars are loud. So, but I'm making this car kind of more of the comfortable car to drive, even though it has 600 horsepower. That's my compromise. I'll put quieter mufflers on it, but it'll have a shit ton of power, 6-speed overdrive, AC. This would be a fun car to drive around on long trips. So, let me go ahead and insulate this sucker. Now the firewall and the cowl are all insulated, or well, hush matted with slash insulation. So now I can go ahead and drill the holes in the inner wheel well right there, which is actually the firewall. So that's where all the hoses are going to come through, is right there, and it runs along the inner fender. And I can start mounting the box. Holes are drilled, grommets are in. And if you notice, they have you drill a hole in the middle here I don't do that. They want you to put the heater shutoff valve inside the inner fender. I think that's stupid, because then it's gonna get saturated with water and dirt and mud and whatever else you drive through. So I have put the water heater shutoff valve inside the the passenger compartment, right next to the heater hose. All right, so here we have the directions, and because I hush matted the inside of the firewall, the adhesive from that just kind of holding it in place so I can do some drilling. But and he says I need to drill 4 holes here, but since this was an AC car originally, it already has the holes drilled out, and all I need to do is enlarge this hole and that hole, and we're good to go. Then I'll put some seam sealer around the edge of this sucker, and what I'm actually going to do is once this is all in and adhesive and glued in, later on when this is all done, I'm actually going to paint this turquoise to match the body, because that's kind of ugly having that big block off plate right there. So then this will be a turquoise. Well, all right, now is the time we get to mount the box, but before we do that, we got to put up a couple AC lines. So if you don't do them right now, which it even suggests it before you put it in the car, it is a pain in the ass to tighten these. Well, it's pain as tighten this one in the car. So it's best just do it now. Well, we've got them all insulated in the press tape now. The number 10 and the number 6. Now comes the pain in the ass part, especially one person trying to lock that box up into place while I go on the engine bay and try and tighten down some bolts. That's gonna suck. Oh man, that's a lot harder than it is for 2 people to get that box in there, but it's in. Got it in there by myself. Pretty much used a screw jack to hold it up in place, and I stuck a screwdriver through the first hole in the firewall to kind of use as a pilot to hold it in position, the jack to hold it up. All right, let's show you what we got going on here. Firewall's in. Oh, I still gotta pull the wrench off there. You can actually see what I did. So, yeah, we just have a wrench taped to the firewall. It's another night. Yesterday was a long day. Actually, no, technically it would have been today. As you can see, I'm working at night, and I was up most of the day as well. But I did get my property bought, paid for, papers signed, so now I got a place to put all my freaking cars. So I'm gonna start moving cars over there one by one. That was a long day, but we're back on Patina here. But since I don't have all the heater hose, I'm just gonna kind of skip that. I'll get the panel installed, I'll get the hard pipes installed, but I'm actually gonna install the heater or the condenser right now. So you gotta mount brackets to it, you got the dryer, you gotta bolt to it, and so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do hard pipes, inner fender, bulkhead, condenser, and probably get started on some wiring. Here we go. Here's one thing I have found in the kits. I mean, I've installed a few of these kits now, and one pet peeve I have with this kit is it doesn't come with the right Adele clamps. It comes with the right Adele clamps for the small pipes, but the big number 10 pipes and the heater core pipes, you are not going to get that little bitty sucker over that. Ain't gonna happen. So I've always had to buy bigger Adele clamps to install the kit because it doesn't come with the right ones. Well, we've now got our brackets mounted to the condenser. I can align the hard pipe to the dryer, and then I need to mount the pressure switch to the dryer. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that done right now. And then I've also got to remove Patina was originally an automatic car, and I got an aftermarket trans cooler in here, so we're gonna yank that out because the car is no longer a slug-o-matic. Finally, freaking hate automatics. All right, junk out, cool junk in. My kit was unfortunately missing some hardware, so I had to find some real quick, but I was able to get some hardware and get this thing going. So I was missing the nuts that actually hold the condenser bracket to the force port. So condenser is mounted, lines are run. Now, before I can run all my hard lines through here and up over the inner fender and all that stuff, I gotta go get more heater hose. I'm all out of heater hose. When you buy the vintage air kit, it does not come with heater hose. So, gotta supply your own. And I just don't have enough right now, so I gotta get some more. But, what I am gonna do, hey Sam, is tackle the wiring. So, we got the wiring harness right here for the vintage air kit. I'm gonna go ahead and install that up in there. And I'm gonna remove the kick panel right there because I like to put my grounds right there and tie everything into the fuse box. So that's why I got the fuse box loose right now. And I'm going to run my compressor wire. This is the trigger wire that actually runs the compressor. I'm gonna run that through the factory junction box on the firewall. So that way, I don't have to drill any holes in the firewall. It'll all be pretty clean. All right, I don't quite remember where I left off on this last part because I've been doing a lot of bouncing around. So, I do know that I was working on the hoses. So I finished the hoses, and let me show you what I've got going on right here. I think, kicking shit over. See, there's not a whole lot of room to wiggle in between this wallet. There's my foot. Crammed in here. Ooh, now my hat's in the way. I can't even have my head. I can't even put my head in my hat there. Alright, anyways, where I was at, or where I left off, was I just started running the hoses for this thing, I believe. And I've done things a little bit different than the instructions. Let me show you. Okay, here's the instructions. They have you putting the heater control valve right here in the wheel well, which means it would have been right here, which to me is dumb because you have a big old honky tire right here that's spinning. It'll be kicking rocks and dirt and there's rain and it'll get weathered really fast. So what I have done is I mounted that inside the cab. Plus, when you do that, you don't have to drill an extra hole in the firewall for the wires to come through. I see it. Yeah, this looped wire right here. They have you run that through. There's supposed to be another hole right here, which the wire would end up going through there. And they only give you 2 Adele clamps to mount your AC lines to the inner fender. Well, I've used 4. I got, hi Sam. Yeah, Sammy, there's not enough room in here for both of us. We got to back up a little bit. Ducting. I need to finish my ducting, mount my fuel pressure gauge, which all the wires are run for it. That's done. Need a transmission, so I'm going to buy a transmission, which I got to sell a charger first to do that. Then I can bolt that to the engine, get the engine transmission in the car. I need to make a transmission mount. I need to cut a hole in the floor. I need to get a shifter for the transmission. Yes, I see them. Clutch, I need a clutch, bell housing, flywheel. I'm actually going to take the battery. We're going to mount the battery in the back because now that this car is a 383, it is about, I think it's 20 to 30 pounds lighter, just a 383 to a 440, just the block with the crank and the rods and the pistons and all that crap. So the new 383 stroker motor is 70 pounds lighter. The new vintage air system is about 30 pounds lighter between everything. So that's already 100 pounds off the nose. Oh, getting rid of all this. This is going to the Wilwood aluminum master cylinder. Manual brakes, not going to have power no more. Don't need that crap. Then we're also going to have aluminum 4-piston disc brakes front, and we're going to have the aluminum brakes in the rear. So this car was $38.50 last time it was on the scales. This next time it should be, I want to say hopefully around $36.50. 200 pounds is a lot. That's kind of wishful thinking, but I'll take it. Oh, forgot to tell you guys, I'm a fortune teller. Because I know this is going to be freaking awesome. What? Oh, I got a handbrake. What? Oh, it's going to be fun. Can't wait. Well, let me show you what I got so far. All right. So we got our pedal assembly bracket just kind of screwed in place just to make sure I like it and I love it. So now I can go ahead and start welding this sucker up.